Hello there, EFD squad, and welcome back to the ERU, where you pick all winners and losers from the weekend just past. And Patrick van Straaten, it was the international break.
Hey.
Woo! If you've watched winners and losers and this, I want you to comment second video, comma, bitches below, because you deserve a response and a like and all that
Or just, text a friend
stuff.
instead
Talk to Frank.
and say, I've had too much time on my hands this weekend.
Anyway, first suggestion comes from @Stephen Fabricius.
Fabricius Jr.
And he's only bloody opted for the big Dane,
Yeah,
Christen Eriksen.
Christen Eriksen, I mean, this is fair enough, isn't it? Because it was a bit of a rough week for the Danish side. They had a bad one against Slovakia. They had to play YouTubers, second stringers, because they have had a dispute between the players and the Danish FA over commercial rights. Anyway, managed to thrash out a temporary deal. All the major players returned to the fold for this game against Wales, and they ran out 2-0 winners thanks to Christen Eriksen, who got a brace. Now, his first goal managed to wander into the penalty area without really much in the way of obstruction, scored in off the post on the 32nd minute and netted a penalty around the hour mark after Ethan Ampadu gave it away with a handball. A little bit harsh, that one. Cross hit him from a couple of yards away, maybe a bit rough, but to be honest, it does really make sense that this was the result. Wales were second best all day long. Anyway, the 26-year-old playmaker has been on a remarkable run of form. 20 goal involvements in his last 18 games for his country. That's 15 goals, 5 assists. They're unbeaten in 11 games at home in all competitions with 5 wins, 6 draws since a 1-0 loss to Montenegro back in 2016. And it's really defence where they've shone, except for Eriksen's obviously attacking contribution. Arge Haraida's men have kept 7 clean sheets in their last 9 home games. They've only conceded twice in that time. And when you have such a tight ship at one end and you've got Eriksen banging them in up front, then you've always got a shot.
Yeah, talking of banging, did you see Nicholas Bentner?
No.
Getting done for whacking a cop. I don't know why I said
What?
cop instead of policeman.
A cop.
A cap.
One of the pigs.
The Rozzers.
Nicholas Bentner to me is like, that episode of Black Mirror where you can just blur people out and you just see sort of white noise where they should be. That's what Nicholas Bentner is in my life. I just see a hole in space where he should be.
On the subject of incredibly disappointing, Wales will be miffed they couldn't back up that promising 4-1 victory over Ireland with a more resolute performance here. They didn't really challenge Denmark throughout this entire game, only registering 1 shot on target to Denmark's 6. Now, this means Giggs has lost 2 of his first 5 matches in charge, as many as they'd lost in their previous 12. Had a purple patch under Coleman, didn't they? Some tough fixtures in this UEFA Nations League. Let's see how it goes for Giggs. Pretty uninspired choice, in my opinion. Not really a big fan of it at all. Don't think he deserves the job whatsoever. Anyway,
Rinsed.
Goals are an issue. They've failed to score in 3 of their past 4 games. That's as many blanks as in their previous 13. And since Mark Hughes' win in Belarus in 1999, each of the last 5 Wales managers have lost their first competitive away game. Not good on the road, are they? And it just wasn't their day. But a couple of the Danes did stand out. Like you said, Eriksen obviously being one, but Dortmund's Thomas Delaney as well. Sean, 2 dribbles, 3 shots, 1 on target, 5 tackles and interceptions. So an all-action performance from him. And Leipzig's 24-year-old right winger, Youssef Poulsen, 1 shot on target, 1 aerial duel, but 5 tackles completed out of 5. So he was pretty much brick house, absolute wall, nothing got by him. Man of the match obviously goes without saying, the big man Christian, 87% pass act, 5 key passes.
Wow.
5. What? 5 shots, 3 on target, 2 goals. Next up,
That's unbelievable.
yeah, Denmark hosts Austria in a friendly next month, and Wales take on Spain in a friendly on the 16th of October.
Yikes.
Can't wait to see Spain put 6 past Wales with
You're
no
not-
striker.
You're not going to watch it. There's no way.
I'll watch the 3-minute highlight package on WhoFoot before we do a desperate last-minute script for Euro Roundup. International break.
Next up, losers, the Netherlands. Predictable. This comes from @NumbusRoy /Nimbus2000.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
He says that the Netherlands are and you know what? He's got evidence to back it up.
For the first time in 49 years, the Netherlands have lost a game against the reigning world champions, succumbing to a 2-1 defeat against Les Bleus in Paris. Now, the first 45 was pretty much a non-contest. The Netherlands conceded 7 shots on target, failing to test Alphonse Areola, who was deputising in goal for Hugo Lloris, once. Poor showing. Mbappe, who could have opened proceedings after 40 seconds, actually, thanks to a frightening turn of pace. He did this little shimmy in the box and sent Daley Blind for a pair of clogs, or, insert national stereotype there. But he got his 9th international goal after a Quincy Promes gift on 13 minutes following a wayward defensive header. Not great. Did you see it? Watch the highlights.
I would never.
Poor. He's just squared it back to Matuidi, who then puts it in. And yeah. Do you know that Mbappe's got 24 caps already and he's 19?
That's a lot of caps.
That is a lot of caps. He's now been involved in 10 goals for his country in 2018. That's 8 goals and 2 assists, 3 more than any French player. So it's safe to say the little Ninja Turtle is killing it and enjoying the extra responsibility as his country's talisman. Worryingly for Koeman, though, the Dutch have now conceded the opener in their last 4 games, all coming in the first 15 minutes. It's quite sleepy, isn't it?
It's not good.
No, it's not great. However, the Oranje, is that how I pronounce it?
No.
Oranje.
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 Were much better in the second half with the industrious Jorginho Wijnaldum, who I know you're a big fan of, at the epicentre. He completed all 36 of his passes, 2 dribbles, which was a team high, and made more recoveries than any other Netherlands player. Listen, I was looking for silver lining. Wijnaldum was it.
Orange lining. He did actually miss a chance on 60 minutes. What a surprise. Still rubbish. But Ryan Babel managed to score, mate. What a rare sight that is. That's like a comet. He scored the Dutch's first shot on target following good work by Memphis Depay and Kenny Tete.
I like Tete.
Tete got 2 key passes and an assist. Yeah, he looks like a good little player. But actually, the Netherlands in the second half had 2 shots on target to France's 1.
Yeah.
So they did come out and manage to kind of create the kind of Koeman game that you imagine he wanted to see in the second half, but it was kind of too late by that point.
It was actually a spectacle second half where he got roasted first half.
Anyway, it was Babel's 8th goal for the Netherlands across a 13-year international career.
How is he still playing?
Well, especially given that he's played for Al Ain, he's played for Kasımpaşa in Turkey. This is not like fertile recruiting ground for one of the traditionally great powerhouses of international football. Anyway, they only stayed level for 10 minutes before Giroud banged in his first goal in 10 appearances. Now, that's not been great recently, but it does bring him to the 4th berth in the list of top scorers for France ever. He's overtaken Zinedine Zidane. You know who it is above him? Henry, Platini, Trezeguet, Giroud.
Fair play.
What a list. In the end, obviously, the Netherlands only had those 2 second-half shots on target. France ended up with 8. And the Dutch completed fewer dribbles, made fewer tackles, won fewer aerial duels, which is one area where historically you'd thought they'd do well. They are a famously tall nation.
One with Van Dijk. Oof.
Yeah, but he's overrated.
Bit of a freak, isn't he? Is he overrated?
I don't know.
In your opinion, that could be the title. Oh, my clickbait senses are tingling.
I do like Van Dijk, and I do think there's the heart of a good team here. Like, when you look at the young talent in this game, Frenkie de Jong, Tete, Kluivert, De Ligt, Donny van de Beek, Nathan Ake, as well, of course, as Memphis Depay. You know, like, there is talent in this side. And you'd have thought that at the very least, you know, a Tete, De Ligt, Van Dijk, kind of that 3 in the back line, that looks really promising going forward, especially in a Koeman team who's going to want to be pretty defensive. Van Dijk is going to be able to break the lines and will hopefully get them out of this pattern of just passing round in a U forever until we all die of boredom. But to be honest with you, you expect them to lose to France, and they didn't let us down. The Netherlands still.
Our final winners are Belgium. This comes from Monty17. If we're going to lambast your homeland, we might as well give mine a good kicking.
Yep.
Go on, Scotland.
Scotland got the kicked out of them 4-0 at Hampden Park. That hands Alex McLeish's team their biggest home defeat since 1973.
Years.
Lukaku, Azar and Michy Batshuayi got the goals. The latter grabbed a brace within 15 minutes of his half-time introduction. In fact, 8 of his 10 goals for Belgium have come as a substitute. But
Super.
that record pales against those of Lukaku and Eden Hazard. Lukaku has scored 18 goals in his last 16 appearances for the national side. Hazard has 13 goals, 13 assists in his last 26 for the Red Devils. And his goal in this game is so good.
I know,
It's outrageous. He does a little fake, then he just rolls the ball past the defender and absolutely hammers it in. And it kind of, the keeper's gone low and it's kind of gone like just over his head, but it looks incredible. He's hit it so hard with his wrong foot.
Absolutely did it, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he was amazing all game long. He was just a problem. They were terrified of him. He obviously got an assist as well for Batshuayi's first goal. And when he left the field on 56 minutes, he was applauded off by both sets of fans.
And Scottish people don't stand up for much.
They can't, can they?
Eden Hazard.
Weak bones.
Eden Hazard's got them on their toes. That's probably the majority of their cardio for that day.
Yeah.
Anyway, on the stats, Scotland were perhaps a little bit hard done by. Now, hear me out here. They had 5 shots on target to Belgium's 7. And although they allowed 3 clear-cut chances for the visitors, they managed to carve 1 out for themselves. So maybe a little bit unfortunate not to get on the scoreboard here. Not really surprising, given this was quite an experimental lineup from Martinez, let's say. Thorgan Hazard at left wing-back, while Atalanta's Timothy Castagne was making his debut at right wing-back. Haven't heard a lot about this kid. Have you come across him in any scout reports, in any continental club research? Because I'm none the wiser.
Well, he's 22 and he's at Atalanta. And Atalanta last season, I think, on Understat, which is a website that kind of keeps track of expected goals, they actually had Atalanta as having the 2nd highest expected points total in Serie A after Napoli.
Wow.
So I think that Atalanta have done a really good job in the last few seasons of finding young talent. Obviously, Conti left to go to Milan, and it looks like Castagna is going to be his long-term replacement. So if he can turn into a top-quality right-back, that would be great. Though on the other hand, they do have Meunier, and you think what they really need is a top-quality left wing-back.
They're pretty choosy as well with who they allow into their prestigious youth setup. I think over 75% of the guys at Atalanta's Zingonia training camp are Italian. They make a point of that. So the fact they've gone out and found this kid and brought him back and cultivated him probably bodes well. Anyhow, back to the game in hand, because we need to discuss 4 more goals. 3 of the 4 of them came from bad attempts to play out of the back, with Moussa Dembele and Yuri Tielemans picking off bad touches, and Belgium actually scored from within 5 seconds of winning the ball back on each of those occasions. Yeah. Which would suggest that they picked the ball up in very advanced positions.
Yeah, they really
and
did.
Scotland's kind of back 4 as a result of, I guess, trying to reset when the goalkeeper had the ball, not being in tandem with one another. Now, that's not overly surprising. Scotland have used 4 different formations in 5 matches under Alex McLeish and lost 4 of them, conceding 8 and scoring 1. In fact, this loss makes it the first time since 2009 that Scotland have lost 3 consecutive games. However, I do see a small silver lining in this, in that McLeish did have a decent level of success with Scotland. I'm thinking winning away at the Parc des Princes with James McFadden. Was that even him? Now, I don't trust myself. But what I'm trying to articulate, and quite poorly as well, is that he could revert to type. At least he's trying to find a system that gets the best out of this crop of players. And why not use this new UEFA Nations League in a bid to make that happen? I like that we, I say we, I am an England fan, but that Scotland have, the strongest left side in Europe, all right?
The strongest
Robertson.
In
yeah,
Europe.
I said it. I'm not taking it back. Those words came out of my mouth. Robertson.
Europe. Go on. Go on, say it again.
Tierney, Robertson, Griffiths. You're not going to get a
What
stronger,
about Ryan Fraser, mate?
stronger left side than that. Moving on. I don't need to justify that any further.
Disgraceful statements. Second and final losers of the week are Norway. This comes from @Barcelonist21. I don't actually know what happens to them. Please go on.
I think this guy is from Bulgaria and he wants to shed a bit of light on them after winning their first 2 games, which I believe does not happen a lot. So they beat Cyprus, and then Norway succumbed to defeat against Bulgaria 1-0 yesterday. Now, there are only 6 places between the two countries in the FIFA rankings, yet Norway will feel, I think, very hard done by to lose this. They attempted 14 shots during the game, so Bulgaria a little bit porous compared to just 3 for Bulgaria. Love that housery from Bulgaria.
Wenger special, that result.
As well as edging the possession battle 52% to 48%. Now, despite dominating, it was hardly a good performance from the Levene. Someone's actually put this in brackets for me to pronounce. Thank you, Levene, as they only completed 65% of their passes. Not that Bulgaria really fared any better with 69%. Anyhow, the decisive moment of the game came just before the hour with Vasilev heading in Popov's cross.
Popov!
And things went from bad to worse as Nordveit was sent off for 2 bookings in quick succession as the game neared the end. Do you have 4 more semi-decent points to make before we wrap this up?
No, I have 4 more points. Norway have been for quite a long time, in fairness. They've underperformed on the international stage for a while. In the mid-90s, get this,
Go on.
at one stage they were ranked 2nd in the FIFA rankings.
When?
I don't know.
Obviously mid-90s, but why?
Don't know. Weird. But their last major tournament was in 2000. This will be a disappointing loss for them. Like you said, they were kind of on top for the majority of the game. When you look at their players, Bulgaria don't only have 1 team member playing outside of Eastern Europe, and he's in the Danish Superliga. Whereas, they might not be amazing, but Nordveit's at Hoffenheim, Josh King's at Bournemouth, Martin Odegaard is technically at Real Madrid, even though he's on loan at Vitesse. And with people like Alexander Sorloth coming through, you kind of hope that they'd be able to return, not to the top table of European football, but to like a high chair next to the top table.
Yeah, some decent mid-table Premier League squad players in there as well. We've got Johansson, we've got Elianussi. But what's happened to the talent?
I bet you have Norwegian players at Celtic.
That did have
really
Johansson.
Celtic.
Christoph Ayer. Very promising young player, actually. What's happened to the talent drop-off in Bulgaria, though? No one playing outside of Eastern... Well, 1 guy playing outside of Eastern Europe. What's happened to the Martin Petrovs, the Stilians, the Stoichkovs, the Berbers?
I don't know. I think it's one of those things, though, where, rather than saying it's weird they don't have that much talent now, it would be a better point to say it's weird they had so much talent that they got to like a World Cup semi-final in 1994. It's kind of like the Netherlands, right? Like everyone's like, what's happened to the Netherlands? How can they have dropped off? How can Uruguay have dropped off? And you're like, because they overperformed for a long time against a tiny population, But anyway, I don't know. I think this is disappointing for Norway. It'll be a big blow to their chances to get to the Euros, because this is probably their best route overall. But anyway, congratulations to Bulgaria. Well done.
Time to end the show then on Star of the Week. And Star is a bit of a stretch this time round, but Saido Berahino has finally come into a bit of form. After 913 days without a goal for Stoke, he's now scored on his debut for Central African nation Burundi, giving them a 1-1 draw against Gabon. He also got one at club level, didn't he? So
amazing. What a player.
Ooh, he's back at it. He scored just 40 minutes into his first game after getting clearance by FIFA in August to complete a nationality switch from England to the Swallows. Now, the 25-year-old was granted political asylum after leaving a war-torn Burundi at the age of 10 and went on to win 47 caps from under 16 to under 21 at England. But, fair play to him. He's not going to get in anytime soon.
No.
In the 3 Lions, is he?
He made the bench in 2014 for a qualifier for Euro 2016 with England, but obviously hasn't actually played. Not really going to get any opportunities because he's rubbish. And so he opted for an international switch. And his goal in this game obviously gave them a point. They'd already beaten South Sudan 3-0. And now as a result, they're top of a group ahead of Aubameyang's Gabon. And it looks like they have a good shot of qualifying for AFCON, which would be Burundi's first appearance at AFCON. It would be Berahino's first appearance, obviously, at an international tournament. And so that would be genuinely really exciting. It's a nation that have never qualified for a major tournament. And imagine if Saido Berahino is the difference. So he may not be a star to us, but for football fans in Burundi, it could be genuinely exciting. So fair play.
But that's the end of the show, so some good news there for you. What else is doing the rounds on Football Daily, Euro Football Daily, FDFC?
Winners and losers, you did that with Joe, right? And you covered some of the other really exciting content from the international break. We'll have the 12th man coming out this week, so keep your eyes peeled for that one if you want tips to beat your friends on fantasy football. Still plenty of time to sign up for our Sky Sports Fantasy Football League if you want to show us what you can do.
Win yourself a shirt. Probably a little bit too late now to compete for the season-long prizes, but still win a football shirt.
Yeah, you can win a prize every week. Enter the PIN code 8376406.
Rain Man.
Knowledge. And we'll see you next time.
So long.